Honk honk.
I honk my little clown nose.
We got out of our little clown car. We are Boo Boo the Fools.
This fucking episode.
Okay. Starting things off. Giveaway still going on. We got to get 10 more followers before we can give away 3 of each of these cute little chibi keychains. They are adorable. They are not available anywhere else yet. Tell your friends if you want to win a keychain. We need 10 more followers on Twitter. Battle of Omegroth Part 1 came out this week for our $5 tier patrons.
It's something.
Anybody here who's listened to that? How are we feeling?
God. It's an episode. Oh, it's an episode.
I think, like, in a way, it couldn't have come out on a better week, too, because you have the whiplash of listening to, like, Mission Insufferable, which is just Clown Town, 90% of the way through.
Yeah.
And then you go listen to Omegroth Part 1, and it's not Clown Town.
It's not Clown Town.
There's not a single honka to be had.
There are clowns, but the clowns are us.
Yeah. We're the clowns.
We're the clowns.
I mean, we were the clowns. We were the clowns in Mission Insufferable, too.
Yeah, but so were Leo and Phoebe. Oh, goodness. Anyway, so that is a thing. Oh, God. This week's episode.
We'll be getting into it. Let's do the playlist. For as much of Clown Town as the episode was, our playlist for this week actually unironically slaps.
Yeah. With one glaring exception.
Yeah, we put one song on there for all of the clown shenanigans.
Yeah.
So you picked this one. The first track was Trouble by Cage the Elephant.
Yes. Yeah, it was just kind of a good scene setter after all that shit for Leo and Fee. Got so much to lose, got so much to prove. God, don't let me lose my mind. Trouble on my left, trouble on my right. I've been facing trouble almost all my life. Yeah. And we will come to pass while I pass the test. You know what they say? Yeah, the wicked get no rest. You can have my heart any place, anytime. Yeah. It's a song. It was a good scene setter. And then the next one.
Rocks and Water by Deb Talon. This is an Alasha song.
Yeah, we wanted to have 2 songs for the Fee and Alasha conversation. We wanted to have one from Alasha's perspective and one from Fee's. And Rocks and Water was for Alasha. Just yeah. Just 7 times I went down, 6 times I walked back. I don't fear the dark anymore because I've become all that. I will be rocks, I will be water. I will leave this to my daughter. Leave your head up, or lift your head up in the wind. When you feel yourself grow colder, wrap the night around your shoulders. I will be with you even then, even when I cannot see your face anymore.
Oh, the second verse. Don't forget the time I wooed him with red wine. The devil, he wore such a fine shirt, and it stayed so clean while he dragged me through the dirt.
Oh, honey, don't trust anyone who looks you in the eye. Don't take any kindness. It's a demand in disguise. I can't talk today.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I think, this one was kind of indicative of the fact that, like, Alasha's rapidly, I think, waking up to the fact that Moreland has lost his shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she, like, it is so sunk cost fallacy for her now. Like, there is no way out.
She's never going to get what she wanted in all of this. Like, there's no way that this ends well, and there's no way that she ends up on top of the situation, but she's so deep in it that she's just gotta keep going, I guess.
Yeah, like, I mean, she just has to keep digging herself deeper because it's not like she can get out at this point.
Alasha's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. And then the next song was... And then the next song on the playlist was My Mother and I by Lucy Dacus.
And that was the Fee song for that conversation?
Yeah. It was mostly... Yeah, we must put it on here for They Called Me an Old Soul when I was too young to know the difference between a soul and a ghost. I feared what was inside, trapped in my body, kept from the other side, a spirit searching for her second life. And the outro of All she has given, all I have taken, all is forgiven, all is forsaken. Yeah. And then Leo's song for this episode.
Yeah, the Leo song for this episode was Get Up by Mother Mother.
Yeah.
You want greatness, you want to taste it, you want to be a king, you want to make it, don't want to fake it, you want to levitate, you want love, want truth, want to feel brand new, you want to do it, you got dreams, there's something in between, man, and you're stuck there underneath them. So yeah, it's a jazzy little number, it's fun.
It's fun.
And then
I suggested that because of all the clown shit that we did this episode, as a joke, I suggested Darude Sandstorm.
It was either going to be that or like
yakety sax,
or the literal actual like circus music, like the we just wanted to have like a shitty funny instrumental. I just want you guys to all do yourselves a favor and like play Sandstorm by Darude really quick and just imagine Leo swinging around that apothecary in his stupid little wizard's hat.
And the bad combat in the wizard's tower. Oh my god. I'm still
Clown Town. Population of
Clown Town. And then the closing and then the closing track was The Tradition by Halsey.
Guess who that one was for?
So, yeah, Defiance. Oh God. Yeah.
Oh, the loneliest girl in town was bought for pennies a price. We dress her up in lovely gowns. She's easy on the eyes. Her soul is black, and it's a fact that her sneer will eat you alive. And the buyer always brings her back because all she does is cry. So take what you want, take what you can, take what you please. Don't give a damn. Ask for forgiveness, never permission. Take what you want, take what you can, take what you please. Don't give a damn. It's in the blood, and this is tradition. Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oh my God. Girl boss derogatory. Somebody in the chat said the girl boss. Girl boss derogatory.
We hate to see a girl boss alive.
Oh my God. We hate to see a girl boss live.
But now we'll move on to our questions. Just let him chew his butt, dude. You're not gonna stop him.
Our dog. Yeah, our questions. Our first question was just, what the actual fuck was that?
And it was sent to us by a patron in like a very like formal message. Hi Barry, hi Al. I have a question for this week's Q&A. What the fuck was that?
It was really good. We got the email notification and we just lost our minds. What the actual fuck was that? Yeah.
Clown Town is what it was.
Yeah.
I don't, well, and that person was a $5 patron, so I don't know if that was a reference to this episode or to Omegroth Part 1 or to both. So if you're here, let us know what exactly you were talking about, and we'll answer it to the best of our ability.
As for Omegroth 1, oof. Moreland Valentine's tragic backstory is what that was.
What the fuck was that? Generational trauma, baby.
Yeah. And as for Mission Insufferable as a whole, Clown Town, we couldn't roll above a 6 is what that was.
We couldn't at least 6 nat ones in that session. It was brutal. It was fucking brutal.
And as for Defiance being there at the end, what the actual fuck was that? Something we've had planned since she died in season 2.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat said in reference to Moreland, we love to see him suffer. Yeah.
You say that now.
Yeah, you say that now.
When after you listen to the episode, get back to us on that. Namely because everyone around him also suffers.
Things are.
Okay. So yeah, next one. Talk about Alasha this episode. She was so violently convoluted this time. I put her in a box and push her away.
So does Faye.
I mean,
yeah. Here's the fucking thing about Alasha.
I put her in the centrifuge.
I put her in a petri dish. here's the fucking thing about Alasha. I do think she genuinely loves Fee. Like, I do think that, but I think that she kind of has fooled herself into thinking that there's a version of Fee that fits better to her expectations. And she loves that version of Fee better than the one that she has.
Yeah, and it's
And
it's not that she doesn't love the actual version of Phoebe, but I
No.
think there is a certain amount of like a not a resentment, but like a fundamental lack of understanding
Yeah.
that Fee is her own person and is making
Yeah.
decisions that are not the decisions that Alasha would make.
Yeah, like, I think that's just kind of where it is, but, like, I don't think her expectations and, like, that kind of complex that she has going on outweighs the fact that she does love Fee and she does fundamentally want Fee to be okay.
Well, yeah, because she
Yeah.
wouldn't have like tried as hard as she did to get Fee out of there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if there was something other than genuine affection driving
Yeah.
her, she wouldn't have offered to let Leo off the hook or like find a
Yeah.
way to get Leo off the hook. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I
because she
think
doesn't give a shit about Leo, but she knows that Fee does.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think, like, she does genuinely care about Fee. She does genuinely want Fee to be okay, but, like, I think in her brain that is all very tied up in her want for, like, her perfect family, and the fact that I do think also she genuinely loves Moreland.
Yeah.
And I think she is just in this situation where she has been trying to convince herself for so long that she can still get what she wants out of this situation, that I don't think until Fee said so this episode, it really like fully computed in her brain that she wasn't going to be able to come out of this as the Archduchess, married to the man that she's been in love with for over a century, with her daughter by her side. Like, I don't think it computed for her that that was not a possibility.
yeah.
Until Fee said so.
Yeah, and I think the wake up call from that was pretty brutal for her.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been a long time coming. I think the reason she looked so wrecked there at the end, right before she dipped out, was that like we caught her mid realization of all of that, because it's been, I think, kind of a creeping thing for her for like the first half of the season of like realizing that Fee really resents her, realizing that like Moreland is getting dangerous, like even more dangerous than he already was, and like past the point that she can help him or mitigate anything that he's doing.
And I think a lot of where her like mental space was in relation to the situation that she's in has been like, I think in a lot of ways she went into the situation with Moreland thinking, oh, I'm better than the other women that he has used and discarded. And I'm better at being a partner, and I'm better at being a mom, and I'm better at being a mother to my child, and like this, that, and the other.
It was very much like a superiority complex thing.
Yeah. And her thinking, oh, I'm better than all of them, so I can end up with what I want in this situation.
Yeah, I think she did go in very cocky. I think you're right. Like
yeah.
she went in with kind of a degree of hubris that like very much did cloud her ability to look at the situation objectively. But I mean, like, that's how she went into the whole situation in the beginning. I mean,
like, I think she was going into the situation with the mentality of, I'm smarter and more worthy of the truth than Adana, and I'm a better partner than Adana or Allure, and I'm better at being a parent than anyone else in this situation. So Fee loves me more than Leo has loved any of his than Leo has loved any guardian that he's had, or than Fee has loved her biological mother or her father. Like, it very much was that like space in her brain of just like, the things that have happened to everyone else that has been in my situation won't happen to me because I'm too good for that to happen to me.
Yeah.
And that, I think that was the wake up call of Fee going, hey, this is not going to break well for you.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was very much.
Yeah, well, and it was a mindfuck when it finally clicked for her.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. And I mean, well, and going back to, you know, the whole fact that she did enter this whole situation like this whole chapter of her life, really, with a whole shit ton of hubris. Like, even going back to like, oh, Leo's mother was a good woman and a very dear friend, like that kind of like.
But the truth isn't for everybody.
Yeah, and like that platitude of like, number one, your very dear friend who you helped murder because so you could fuck her husband. Like that really good friend. Like
yeah. But also like, and we've had like this realization that she also to a degree thinks that she is smarter and more able to figure things out than Moreland is, which is true. But like, she has had it in the back of her mind of like nothing bad can happen to her in this situation because she's the smartest person.
And because she has so much dirt on him.
Yeah, and because she has so much dirt on him and because she has been strategizing for so long. And I think it's just like, I think, you know that meme that's like me reaping or no,
me sowing.
Yeah, me sowing. Yes, this is all great. Me reaping. Oh, what the fuck? You know? Like, I think that's where Alasha's at. Is just, shit, the consequences of my own actions.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it does come down to the fact, like, she is very smart, and she's, you know, she's a very savvy political player, and she's very good at what she does. But I think there was a part of her that didn't consider the idea that, like, she can have as much dirt on Moreland as she wants, and she can be as much smarter than Moreland as she is, and she can have a better grasp on the political situation than Moreland does. It will not save her losing it will not save her from losing everything when he breaks as bad as he is breaking, because he's rapidly approaching a point where he cannot be reasoned with.
And like, and I think because of the sunk cost fallacy, she was like, okay, even though all of this is happening, I can still pull this back. Like, I can still figure this out and turn the situation to my benefit.
Course correct.
Because she always has been able to before. Like, she's never been in a situation that she can't course correct before. And like, now her husband has gone off the deep end and is committing war crimes in front of her and assassinating their friends or having their friends assassinated and having her help with that. And her daughter said, hey, this is fucked.
Fuck off.
Leave me alone. And like, I think that's such a mind fuck for her because this has never happened to her before.
Well, and like all of the
Alasha's she's interesting.
She's fascinating. Yeah. And like all of the pieces of her perfect little family are like now crumbling around her ears because Fee wants nothing to do with her. Moreland is losing his fucking marbles and probably distancing himself from her in that respect. Like
Alasha. That's all. Just oh my god, Alasha. I think this is the worst situation she has ever been in, and she cannot find a way to course correct, but she also can't back out.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't
have the option to bail out.
She's in too deep. Anyway, our next question. Our next question was, why did Kimberly and Kiva leave them in a dumpster?
It wasn't on purpose.
It wasn't on purpose. The city spins.
Yeah, so what happens was Leo and Fee actually reappeared at the exact same geographical spot that they disappeared, but the city, it had been a couple hours, so the city had spun, and so they fell into, so where the courtroom had been, they fell into a dumpster instead. Kimberly and Kiva did not consciously be like, you know what? Fuck you, into the trash.
We consciously put them in a dumpster because we thought that was funny.
We thought it was funny.
But Kimberly and Kiva did not trauma dump at them and then say, okay, well, pizza dumpster.
Which, you know, I wouldn't put it past Kimberly, but that was not a conscious decision on Kimberly and Kiva's part. The city spins.
We did that on purpose. We thought the mental image of them just dropping into a dumpster after all of this was so funny. Oh, goodness.
Somebody in the chat said I didn't put a question in beforehand, but my question is just talk about Defiance. Don't worry, we will.
We will.
We have several questions about Defiance. Do not worry.
But yeah, sorry. We had the beginning of this episode planned out for so long. Just they drop into the dumpster and Leo voice, there are dragons on the moon. We had it planned for so long that was going to be the opening moments after all this shit. that we found out the last 2 episodes, and it played out exactly how we wanted it to. It was so good. It was, mwah.
It's really just, after experiencing all of the tens of thousands of years of generational trauma of their own family and Kimberly and Kiva's bullshit, we needed to humble them a little bit. So into the garbage with you.
We were like, oh yeah, we're having trouble balancing like humor with the drama this half of the season because everything's getting so tense. So we were like, yeah, we'll drop them into a dumpster. That'll be funny. And then our dice said, oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, you want to be funny?
Yeah. You want to be funny?
Oh,
yeah. Funny. We can be funny.
A little funny man. Oh, okay.
Clowns. Our next question was, what happened right after the 2 of them disappeared from the courtroom?
Abrupt chaos,
chaos, yeah. Everybody freaked out.
I mean, like, Leo brought it up, like, the whole sentiment of, oh god, I disappeared on Zed again. So I'm sure that Zed's reaction was
not good.
Not fun. Like,
Not good. Well, he said he thought Leo was dead again.
Yeah.
They disappeared in a puff of smoke. Oh, goodness. But yeah, I think things went a little off the rails in the courtroom right after they disappeared because they just vanished. I think probably most of their party got detained for questioning for a while.
But because none of them actually knew where they were. Mean, there was really nothing that could have been done. And I mean, they had legal advocates there that probably helped, like Boreas is a fucking lawyer. Like there was probably no way that they could legally keep them all detained for very long because they didn't actually know anything. Mm-hmm. And I think that Tomas probably stepped in too and vouched for them. Like, because Tomas, we said Tomas was there in the courtroom, right?
I think we did, yeah. I think we said so, yeah.
So, like, Tomas was there to vouch for them and kind of interrupt, and, like, Nora didn't have diplomatic immunity anymore, but Boreas did, so, like, that helped, probably. And then they got out and went back to the house because that was really the only thing to do, and they needed to get distance from that whole situation in case
I think they were still being watched, which is why they had to meet them so much later.
Well, and that was why, and Leo kind of anticipated that when basically the first thing out of his mouth was like, we can't go back to the house. Like, they're going to be watching the house.
Oh, yeah. But things were not good right after they disappeared, is what we're thinking. Our next question was talk about the mechanics and game design of the episode.
This was a fun one. We're getting more into like funky game design as the season winds down. Like, well, not winds down because it's winding up towards the end. But I mean, as we're on like the back half of the season, we've been doing a lot more stuff with like funky mechanics and game designs and dungeon crawls and stuff like that.
It's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been interesting. But
we wanted to do a heist episode. Like, we were trying to think of ways. This ended up being more comic relief than we actually planned for it to be. But like, we wanted it to be kind of a comic relief episode, like something that wasn't super high stakes, so we could bring in Defiance, all Rock of Ages at the end, and like really fuck with people.
We wanted it to be like relative, not super high stakes, but like keep some of the tension of just the situation.
So we were like, oh, heist episode. That sounds really fun. And we were like, okay, well, what would they need? What would they need to do a heist for? And then I remembered like, oh, they don't have their arcane focuses. They can't cast. Although, in the rules of D&D, there are spells that don't require material components, and you can cast those, but we homebrewed the rule about having to make the Arcana check to cast without
technically
focus.
You don't need to do that in the rules, but I think that's bullshit and not fun. That's bullshit, and it's not fun. And also, we had established that casters are pretty useless without their focuses or their components before. So
we homebrewed that. Just kind of looked at the numbers, test rolled a couple things, and that ended up being fun until it wasn't.
It ended up being fun until we couldn't roll above a 6 for 30 minutes.
So we basically designed the whole mechanics of the episode around the idea that we wanted to do a heist episode and we wanted them to have to like break into the wizard's tower and steal a bunch of material components and stuff.
Well, because we had in our like original season 3 outline, we had a heist episode.
It was a train robbery.
Out. Yeah,
it was a train robbery.
Yeah. And we ended up not being able to do it because it didn't fit with the plot of the season. So we wanted to bring it back.
Yeah, they were gonna. I forget what they were gonna rob off the train.
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
This was like our first draft of season 3 that we like wrote back during the scribbling on the poster board days. Like,
yeah.
But I had been so enamored of the idea of the train robbery episode because it had the potential to be so much fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was devastated when we lost it because the timing of when they got to Voldur and everything, like it didn't work out with them being able to do a train robbery.
Yeah.
Because the only time that they were ever on a train was during Off the Rails, and there was too much going on during Off the Rails for them to do a train robbery.
When we sketch out like the final plot of season 3, it just didn't fit. So sad.
But I was devastated to lose it, and then like we had this kind of like big question mark right after the Death Twins episodes where we were like, okay, we need to get them from Death Twins to Defiance showing back up and throwing a monkey wrench in the works. Like, what are we gonna do? Because we need a bridge between those two things. We can't just smash cut into it. And I was like, what if we brought back the heist episode?
Oh goodness. And to keep it engaging, we ended up homebrewing our rules again about the magic system. So it was a lot of fun to design. It was very frustrating to play.
Not so much fun to play.
So angry. Our next question was, Leo mentioned to his grandma's ghost that he and Fee weren't allowed around her when they were kids. Why? The only good parenting decision Moreland Valstein ever made.
Moreland fucking put his foot down and said, this woman will never come into contact with my children, is why Leo and Fee never met their grandmother.
No.
And she died when they were both teenagers.
Yeah. You know how when you have shitty abusive parents who also had shitty abusive parents, they can acknowledge that their parents were bad, but they can't acknowledge that they are doing similar things. Moreland.
Yeah. They weren't allowed around her because she was awful. Yeah. And I think it's a very interesting experience. If you guys are on the $5 tier of the Patreon, it's a really interesting experience to listen to Mission Insufferable, where she's a ghost, and we talk about how, like, because of the way we do ghosts, like, because she is not remembered well or fondly, that she has like degraded, and the only things that remain about her are like she's inhumanly tall. She casts a very intimidating figure. Her eyes are bright and piercing. All of the things that made her terrible. She's basically like, she's Moreland's sleep paralysis demon, essentially.
Well,
like,
and Nora's
and Boreas's and Durana's.
Yeah, like she is the things that her children, who she traumatized, remember her as, which was very fun to kind of design, especially because we did this episode after we recorded Omegroth 1, so like,
and that informed her design. So like the tangent I was going on was, it's very cool to see her as a ghost in Mission Insufferable and then go listen to Omegroth Part 1, because we have flashbacks where Moreland's like the equivalent of like 5, 7, 13 years old, and she's showing up and like actively traumatizing her kid on screen, and we talk a lot about like her physical features and how like to him she does seem inhumanly tall.
In flashbacks. For everybody that's not on the Patreon, that episode will go public after the campaign ends.
Over.
Enjoy that when it comes out, but
it's cool to see her like when she was still alive in Omegroth Part 1, and then like see how her ghost has gotten all fucked up and degraded.
Yeah. I had fun designing that ghost.
We have some other ghosts that we can't tell you about yet, but that Al has given me some design details for that are gonna fucking rock.
Next question was, so what happened, Smiley Face, to Defiance, Smiley Face?
She took a very long swim. She did wrestle a hammerhead shark and won.
We did say that. We did say that as like a joke between the two of us. We were like, yeah, she probably wrestled a shark.
And then she swam back to shore.
Yeah.
And she's gonna update us.
Somebody in the chat said, "See, I told you she'd beat the sharks." Yeah.
Yeah. She punched a shark right in the face.
That's a shark. Yeah.
Divine smites a shark.
Oh, she used all of the spells that she had left, which was not a lot of them. Oh goodness.
And then she swam back to shore. And then she'll update us, next week in more detail on like exactly what happened after she jumped off the Banshee. But essentially she got in touch with Moreland as soon as she could and was like, "Hey, I fucked up." And he
got fired.
And she got fired. And he said, "Cool, you're fired, and I'm taking your rank, and also you're banished from Astraria. Goodbye."
Yeah. And then she spent the several months that have happened in podcast between her death and now just trying to get to Voldur to fuck up Leo and Fee.
Yeah, because it's not
just
like
trying to find out where they were and trying to get to them to fuck them up.
But finding out where they were is not hard. Like them being in Voldur was like international news.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
But
also she had no power. Like she didn't have her Astrarian naval fleet anymore. She's still the pirate queen of Astraria because that's a separate, position.
Yeah.
But she didn't really have shit.
Yeah. So she just spent the last few months like plotting her revenge and getting enough power to execute it. Like it's
her new aesthetic was very much inspired by, in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies where Norrington comes back and he's all like fucked up and like his clothes are all like ratty and he's grown a beard out and stuff like that.
That was Barry's pitch for Defiance's new design was I want to Norrington her.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. And our next question was, did Alasha know Defiance was alive / coming after Leo and Fee? Is that why she tried to warn Fee?
I don't think she knew specifically, but I think she was suspicious and afraid of it.
Alasha was warning Fee about every Beacon operative that was not under her direct command that was in the vicinity, because the Beacon is a cutthroat organization. And like, I think she had a suspicion that Defiance was coming after them, and she definitely knew Defiance was alive. I think the reason she didn't tell Leo and Fee that Defiance was alive was because she assumed that they knew.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, like
there's a lot of things that probably got lost in translation there. But
I think she just assumed that they were aware because I don't think she knew that they had that they thought they had killed her. So miscommunication there. Like she just assumed, and broadly she was warning Fee about every Beacon operative that could come after them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I think
a lot of people.
Yeah, I think the idea of Defiance coming after them was on her radar. Mm-hmm. But she just she didn't mention it specifically. Well, because Fee never mentioned to Alasha that they thought she was dead.
Yep.
Like all Fee ever said to Alasha was like, "You set Defiance on me like an attack dog."
Yep. And we did that conversation very carefully.
Yeah.
To make that illusion persist.
Yeah. So, Alasha had suspicions, but was more concerned with the situation at large than the actual specific threat that Defiance posed.
Yeah, you'll notice in the Fee and Alasha conversation at the end of season 2 that Fee never says Defiance is dead for Alasha to refute that. Like it was mwah, mwah. Oh, goodness. Our next question was, how did Defiance find them?
She knew they were in Voldur.
Yeah.
And she has a locate creature spell. So, I mean, it was a pretty long shot for her to find them. She just happened to roll into Voldur on the same day that they disappeared from a courtroom and ended up down by the docks. Mm-hmm. So she got really lucky because the range on a locate creature is only 1,000 feet. So she would have just had to wander around the city until she got a ping.
Oh, good.
But she had locate creature and plenty of spell slots to cast it, and I believe it's a ritual spell. So she could have even been casting it as a ritual over and over again.
Somebody in the chat said, I think everyone except Leo and Fee assumed that she survived, that Alasha would have known Defiance would have survived that, but Leo and Fee went, oh, she's dead now. Okay.
The captain thought she was, the captain and Sabine and everybody that was on the Banshee.
Everybody on the Banshee thought Defiance was dead.
Yeah.
And then the same person said, Alasha wouldn't have assumed that she died just because she jumped off the ship. She jumped off the ship into the waters around Pearlport
with 4 hit points.
And the Zephyr Isles first of all, the waters around the Zephyr Isles are dangerous because it is so stormy and like there are such powerful tides. She could have easily jumped off the boat, got bashed right into a rock. Also, there are a lot of sharks around Pearlport.
And also carnivorous mermaids.
And also carnivorous mermaids that we mentioned.
Yeah. We mentioned that Leo said, oh, mermaids, and the captain and Pelican were both like, no.
No.
That was kind of a world building thing that got lost. But yeah, the one of the ancestors of the Stormfolk, the Stormfolk are basically what happened when the Night Elf population intermarried with carnivorous mermaids.
Yeah, like it very much is a thing of like Defiance did not survive because she was skilled. She survived because she was lucky, and there was every reason to believe that she would have been dead after she jumped off.
Which is why the captain was so confident about it. Like he knows those waters, and he was like, "Oh,
the captain has lived in those waters for his entire life."
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh no, she had 4 hit points, and there's like hungry mermaids and sharks in the water."
She was actively bleeding, and she jumped into shark-infested waters. Like I think, I think. Everyone listening kind of has the context of that was very not dramatic for a story that is being told and for one of the main villains of that story. But like the characters don't know that they're in a story. She had 4 hit points. Like that's very much the thing of like they had no reason to assume that she would have survived because the captain had the most experience with those waters.
And was like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah. And in his educated opinion, he was like, oh yeah, she's not going to survive for long. She's done. Like it very much was a thing of like,
yeah, because if the captain had not been 100% confident that like she was not gonna live through that, he would have turned the fucking boat around and gone back to what's the Woody Harrelson line from Zombieland? Rule 1: double tap. Pow, pow.
Yeah.
Like he
Defiance survived because she was lucky.
Yeah.
Because she is an uncommonly lucky person. And she had a little bit of plot armor. Like, very much that is, they had every reason to assume that she was dead because, like, the captain was the most educated on the situation.
And was fully like, sure. Yeah, no, she's done. Like, and if he hadn't been super confident that she was done, he would have turned the boat around and made sure that they double tapped. But he was sure that she was going to get eaten.
Yeah. 999 times in that situation, Defiance would have died. She is just an uncommonly lucky person.
Much like Fee.
It's
that Stormbringer shit. Yeah.
Much like Fee, she is an uncommonly lucky person, and she managed to just skate by and get herself into a position where she could build her power back up. Like it very much was not everyone assuming. It was
she should have died.
Yeah. She should have been dead. Oh goodness. And then next question was, what's up with Defiance's new sword?
Hey guys, remember how Fee could have picked the sword or the shield back in Eastcliff? She had to pick one. Defiance was in the Zephyr Isles for a bit.
Yep.
And the big fuck off permanent hurricane around the magical Kiva cave off of Eastcliff was no longer there because we turned it off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the sword that Fee didn't take.
So you guys get to find out what it does next week. And so did Al. Because Al didn't know what either of those items did because they rolled so bad on the check to figure out what it was that they did. So they just kind of had to pick the shield blind.
Yeah.
And I would not tell them what the sword did after they didn't pick it because I knew that Defiance was gonna get it. So I was like, whatever Fee doesn't pick, like I had like planned down the line that Defiance was gonna get it. So I was like, nope, I'm not telling you what it did. And then they found out the hard way what it did.
Battle of the girl bosses. And our
last question.
Open question time after this. Our last question was, what's wrong with your dice? I don't know. I'm normal. I'm normal. I feel so normal about how bad we rolled last episode. I feel so calm and normal and great about all those nat ones.
I love you so much. You are my best friend in the entire world. You get so irrationally angry when you can't win D&D.
Yeah. But at least it's funny. Look, I am a competitive bitch. I will not change. I will not improve. And losing that concentration check made me so mad. So mad.
The fact that Leo has a plus 15 to lockpick checks and still couldn't get in the door. It's like, wow, we've been building up Leo and Fee to be these like big badass heroes. Like, yeah, this is the crack team. This is the dynamic duo that's gonna go save the world and stop the war. It's like they can't break into a wizard.
This is what level 14 D&D characters look like. I went.
Like, we need you guys to understand that like we did design this episode to have a little bit of comic relief. It got way more comic than we expected it to, and there wasn't a whole lot of relief for us because neither of us have ever played a game of D&D that bad in our lives. Like, Al has supernatural fucking luck with dice rolls. Like insane. Like, Al rolls crits like it's their job. And like every once in a while I'll have a good day where like, you know, freaky shit will happen, like when Leo got those 3 nat 20s in a row, like during the lava fight and stuff like that. Typically like I roll okay and Al just rolls like superhumanly well. Neither of us have ever played a game of D&D that bad in our lives.
I just this was the episode, I think we mentioned it, this was the episode that we had to pause in the middle so I could go scream, and then I blew my voice out and we had to continue recording a different day.
They put their face into a pillow and they screamed so hard that they blew their voice out.
Yeah.
It was after you lost that concentration check, I think.
I think it was, yeah. Yeah, if there's a point in the episode where my voice is noticeably rougher than it was before, it's because we had to record on a different day after I screamed so hard that I couldn't talk.
So yeah, we don't know what was wrong with our dice that day. We recovered a little bit before the next episode. And then we went right back to Clown Town.
Yeah, the dice need to go in the freezer. The dice need to go in the freezer.
I need to do an elaborate cleansing ritual on our dice, and I just haven't had time. I'll do it. Well, we have to finish recording Omegroth Part 2 tonight, so I won't be doing it tonight.
Yeah, we started that a while ago, and we didn't get back to it. Life. It's our fucking dice.
Yeah, it was like we had Clown Town.
I'm normal.
Clown Town, and then this week's upcoming episode, like we recover a little bit of our badassery. We get to do some cool shit.
Yeah.
And then
back to it.
Right back to Clown Town.
Our dice have a sense of humor. The back half of this episode. Or not episode, the season. Anyway, open question time in the chat. Oh, the dice. Oh, the dice.
It was
dice.
Brutal. Yeah.
Oh, the dice.
I mean, like, in a way, I think it all kind of worked out for the best because I think
it's a great episode. It just made me so irrationally angry to record.
Oh, the whole thing with like Leo coming down like SpongeBob in the wizard hat out of the ceiling was totally unplanned. Because I fucked up that first roll so bad trying to find us an apothecary, and I thought Al was going to physically punch me in my face if they couldn't get their fucking spell components. Like, I felt threatened. And they were so mad that I fucked up that roll that they gave me a second chance so we could go rob an apothecary. But at that point...
I wasn't even that mad about the apothecary. I was kind of mad about not being able to cast haste, and that's why we had a second choice on it, or a second chance on it. But, like, there was one spell component that, like, we had talked about how we were going to get all of them, and I was like, oh, yeah, for Witch Bolt, I just need a twig from a tree that's been struck by lightning. I have lightning. I can strike a tree with lightning. And then Barry was like, oh, yeah, I'll put one outside the Wizard's Tower, and you can just go for it. And then
Fee had to break us into the Wizard's Tower because I fucked up my
and there was no tree.
So I just put the twig in the Wizard's Tower because I thought that Al was going to, like, reach out and get me by the throat and, like, Anakin Skywalker force choke me.
It was the easiest one to get.
Well, you still got it.
Yes. Yeah.
You got all your spell components. I never got my fucking phosphorus because the rope was too short. But yeah, so the whole narrative of like Leo coming down from the ceiling and just a potato flew around my room before you came. Like that was all because we fucked up our rolls so bad. We had to come up with some ridiculous shit to be able to get what we needed.
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. Oh, it was good.
I do want you guys to take note. Leo passed the luck check to hold onto his wizard's hat, which means that he got kidnapped by Defiance wearing a funny little wizard hat.
Yeah. Well, that's the beginning of next.
Well, yeah. Well, what did you think was gonna happen? People can infer.
Yeah, but yeah, just the dramatic final scene of this episode happened while Leo was wearing a funny little wizard's hat, a la Mickey Mouse. Oh God! Oh my God! This episode, was a lot. To
feel deranged.
Kubrick stare. Just Al does a Kubrick stare at the webcam to show that they are at the height of their derangement.
You were a bit mad. I was just shocked because I was like, neither of us ever rolled this bad. What the fuck is going on?
Someone in the chat said, I hope he keeps the hat. He deserves a win.
Defiance is going to take the hat. She's going to take the hat, man. She's cool like that.
Can't have shit in Boulder.
I don't think we ever talk about her explicitly taking the hat, but I am thinking about her just angrily snatching it off his head.
Oh my God. Somebody in the chat said Defiance won't be able to pull it off as well.
Oh no, she doesn't want to wear it. She just wants to make sure he doesn't have it.
She doesn't want Leo to have it. We never explicitly say that it got taken, so technically you can picture the Leo in the wizard hat for the rest of the season if you'd like.
I'm begging you, please don't do that. It's gonna ruin every big dramatic moment that we have coming up in the next
You did this.
There are things that we cannot tell you about that will be ruined if you imagine them happening with Leo in a silly little wizard hat.
That's so fun. It's so fun. Somebody in the chat said it's too late. He's in the hat. Yep. You did this to yourself.
I did.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. The Battle of Girl Bosses next episode. Leo's in a little wizard hat. The final battle.
The final battle with Moreland.
Yeah.
Leo's in a funny
little wizard hat.
Oh, I hate this.
Somebody in the chat just sent an eye emoji. Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, like we're just gonna keep riffing, open questions.
Yeah, 10-minute mark. We're just gonna keep going. The chat said the unspoken wizard hat.
This is horrible. I hate that I've done
the
this.
Subtextual wizard hat. Somebody in the chat said, after that initial courthouse incident with the rerolls, will Leo and Phoebes Magic become more intertwined, or was that a one-time thing? It can. We've established that they can do things like that. So, like, if it becomes relevant the rest of the season, we can do things like that again.
Where, like, Fee gives Leo a reroll or something if he needs it.
Yeah. Where, like, they can kind of back and forth their abilities, especially from their magic items, because their magic items are from Kimberly and Kiva. But, like, it's not something that we do, like, explicitly. Like, they're not sharing spell slots or anything. Like, they're not sort of casting together. They do some fun combos the next couple episodes.
We did a really cool combo this upcoming episode that I was really proud of.
Yeah, like, it's their magic is not explicitly intertwined, but their magic items have been from the beginning. And as they get more in tune with their magic items and with everything going on, like, metaphysically around them, like, those are kind of free game.
Yeah, we definitely start to see towards the back half of the season, like, Leo and Phoebe becoming a devastating combat force together.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they whoop ass in combat when they're fighting as a duo.
Yeah,
Like
Battle of the Girl Bosses, we had an interesting combo.
Yeah.
We had an interesting combo that you will see. So that was fun. But yeah, it's their magic is not explicitly tied to each other, but it is very much
it informs each other.
Yeah,
Right?
I think that's the best way to put it. Yeah. Siblings. Somebody in the chat said, so excited for Battle of the Girl Bosses.
You should be.
You should be. We had fun recording this week's episode. Check the content warnings.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Check the content warnings. Yeah.
It was nice to have one episode where we didn't have to be like, check the content warnings or we'll mash you.
They're not like as bad as they have been before next episode, but there's some stuff. Check the warnings. Yeah. Oh my god.
Are you rooting for Defiance? Absolutely the fuck not.
I think that person was talking to someone else in chat.
Okay.
We are not rooting for Defiance. Oh goodness. I hate to see a girl boss win, in fact. Oh jeez. But yeah, we're excited. Somebody in the chat said, DMing question, how do you guys make great nemesises like Defiance? Well,
I have a whole meta on how I like to write villains.
Go.
Okay. And like this is very tied to the fact that Omegroth 1 came out this week too.
Yeah.
I think that my wife.
Chelsea's home. Hi, Chelsea. Chelsea's home for the last 10 minutes. For the Q&A.
Do you want to come say hi to your adoring public?
Wave hello, Chelsea. You did the fucking princess wave. You did the
Thank you.
Mia Thermopolis. Fucking Mia Thermopolis ass.
Thank you for being here today.
God.
My wife. Anyway.
Anyway, the villain meta. Go.
I think that the best way to write a compelling villain is that you have to write somebody who, at the end of the day, does things that are fundamentally unacceptable.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to see how they got to that point.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of fun you can have with villains that are just evil for evil's sake, which is like kind of the like surface level of Defiance.
Yeah.
You know, that she, or that not necessarily that she's evil for evil's sake, but that she is self-aware what a piece of shit she is.
Yeah.
And like not really self-loathing about it, like kind of thinks that it's the best part of her.
Yeah.
But like,
and we have a lot of unpacking of
that will happen later. Yeah.
Episode, and we'll talk about it.
But like with characters like Morlun and Alasha, especially, it's like you have to be able to objectively look at them and look at the things that they do and understand like, oh, this is unacceptable behavior. Like there is no justification
behavior, but I understand how this person got here.
And I think so much of the meat of a good villain is in that understanding of how they got to that point, because it just, I think it gives a villain dimension to humanize them. And I think
writing evil for evil's sake is not
the kind of storytelling we want to do.
Yeah, it's not the kind of storytelling we want to do. It's not very compelling. And like, I think there comes a point where if you're writing someone who commits atrocities for the sake of atrocities, I think there's a point where you distance yourself from the human capability to do shitty.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and especially like we're writing a story about generational trauma.
Yeah.
So like if we made Morlun like a one note, one trick pony asshole with like no depth, nothing,
there would be no impact to Leo and Phoebe breaking the cycle if we didn't understand how the cycle was perpetuated. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And like, yeah, I think that is the best way to do it. And what you said about how, you know, writing evil for evil's sake distances you from you're right, it distances you as a writer and as a DM, you know, if you're doing it for like a TTRPG sort of thing, like what we're doing.
People want other people who do evil things to be fundamentally not understandable, and fundamentally they want to dehumanize people who do evil things because they don't want to acknowledge that they have that capability in them.
And I think the human capacity for evil is like so much of something that we explore, especially with our villains in campaign 1.
Yeah.
Especially with like the Omegroth episodes, because you see who these people were.
Yeah. I think fundamentally you need to acknowledge that people do evil things because they are people, and because people have that capability in them. And you have to understand the steps that someone has to take to justify atrocities to themselves, so that you don't fall into patterns where you are doing harm to other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because we've talked before about how like the pattern of Alasha's villainy has been ruthless pursuit of her like ideals and her goals and the things that were important to her. Whereas like the path of Morland's villainy is just an extremely slippery slope. Like he just kept having the opportunity to like, you could have made a good decision here, and you could have made the right decision here, and you could have made the right decision here. And at any of these points, if you had made the right decision, you could have turned shit around before it got too bad. And he just kept making the wrong decision every time.
And like Alasha's motivations, fundamentally, it is good to want
love
your family to be
like,
together. It is good to want to be loved. It is good to want your child to be successful and happy and with you. Like, those are all good things. Alasha has just, because those are all good things that she wants, has been able to justify the murder and gaslighting of Adana Velsign, for example, has been able to justify killing Kalessa's parents. Like, she's been able to and Soren. Like, she has been able to justify all of those horrible things, because the things that she wants are fundamentally good and admirable things to want. It's just that
she doesn't care who she hurts to get
exactly
them.
Like it's very much, when we're writing villains, we are always thinking, okay, how did you get here, and how did you start out? Because no one starts out committing atrocities because they want to, you know, like
people aren't born evil.
Like
I don't think that, I think the way we write villains very, very much boils down to no one is born evil, but the inherent human capacity for evil is something that you shouldn't ignore as a storyteller.
I think
no one is born evil, but everybody is capable of doing evil.
I think the key to writing good villains is looking at the parts of them that are good and figuring out how to push that into evil. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, and we see with Defiance, like next episode, like her original aims are fine. Like, we'll talk about it next week, but even Defiance, who was the most like superficially evil for evil's sake villain in the campaign, started out with good reasons, and you can understand how she got to where she is. Like, it's very much, and also like writing her specifically, since someone said, how do you write nemesises? Specifically, we write her as a good nemesis for Phoebe because they are narrative foils, because Defiance is what Phoebe could easily have been.
And we did that with Leo and Morland too. And then I think we've talked about how like we kind of have set up like Kalessa and Alasha, or Sabine and Alasha.
Sabine and
Alasha as kind of like narrative foils. Like, they're not direct nemeses, but like
no. But like they very much are kind of counterbalances to each other on
like. As somebody who really enjoys like reading like either villain centric or like villain heavy stories, like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins rocked. My goal as a DM and as a writer and as a creator is I want to write villains that you like, but you can only like them if you acknowledge that their shit is unacceptable.
Yeah. You can't redeem them. You can't like them and redeem them, because the thing that is compelling about them is how they got to the acts of evil that they
and the point of no return. The point of no return is something that I love playing with, which is why I wanted to do the Omegroth episodes in the first place. I wanted us to see the tipping point with our BBEG. And like, my goal is to write and play villains that you like, but you can't like them without realizing that they're irredeemable, shitty, awful people.
Yeah. And like, a lot of this is also what I was trying to do when I was like, in the short time that we had at Lander, when I was like formulating his monologue and everything. Like, the point is that you get how a villain got to where they are. But
Yeah, and honestly, like, just from a character perspective and from like being able to dissect like the psychology of characters and the motivations of characters, I love our villains. Like they're all terrible people.
they all suck.
They're all terrible people.
They all
I
suck.
had a fucking blast playing Moreland though. I
Yeah.
had so much fun. Like and like you had the time of your fucking life playing a lander. Like
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's very much, it's fun to be able to examine that point of no return in a space where it doesn't harm anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have had a lot of fun writing our villains, but also they're all pieces of shit, and
Feel free to like them,
Yeah.
but just like
The
don't
consequences-
try to
yeah.
redeem them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we've had a lot of fun with them. They're fun. You are absolutely free to like them. We like them, and they are fun to unpick, but like they all deserve the consequences that are coming to them.
And they all are going to get what they have coming to them.
Yeah. Like that's kind of where we're at with them.
Because as a storyteller, I don't like doing sometimes evil wins. Like no,
Yeah,
I don't like that
don't like that
defeatist bullshit in
nihilistic,
fiction.
cynical bullshit. It's so annoying.
Hope punk forever.
Hope punk forever. It's so annoying when people are like, "Oh, the bad guys win. Evil is more powerful than good." No, it's fucking not. No, it's not. The human capacity for love and compassion and kindness is more powerful than anything else in this world. You're an asshole. Like that's kind of where I'm. Hope punk forever.
You
But
just know these characters would be problematic faves on Tumblr Circuit 20. They could be problematic
They could be
faves
problematic
now.
faves
You
now.
just have to acknowledge that they are problematic. Like
Yeah.
feel free to like them. We like them.
yeah, but yeah, that's
They
kinda-
suck, but we like them.
Oh, somebody in the chat said once learn Moreland fan art.
No!
No.
We're done.
And we're done.
done.
And we're done.
Bye.
That's it.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, I can't believe you've done this.